Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel, as always, we always do like transfer daily shows now, of course, to keep you up to date of what's going on in the current transfer rumours. Obviously, we do this every single day of the week, of course, as you are all aware of. So obviously, the first topic of development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Fulham's Ryan Sessengon. I have been keeping you up to date about him, in the last couple of days, because reports have been coming out from Sky Sports and a lot of other media outlets saying that Manchester United we have stepped our interest up in Ryan Sessengon. It has said Manchester United have been the only team that have made initial contact with Fulham over the potential move for Ryan Sessengon. Obviously, as we all know, Ryan Sessengon does play as a left back. He can also play as a left winger. I think now Ryan Sessengon is primarily a left winger. I think Manchester United, of course, have been linked with him in the past a couple of times. Obviously, he has been on Tottenham's agenda for quite some time. Obviously, it also said that Juventus have been interested in Ryan Sessengon. But Ryan Sessengon is only 19 years of age. He turned actually 19 yesterday, as I did give you an update on. Ryan Sessengon, of course, has obviously so far spent the entirety of his career with Fulham. Obviously, I think he made his senior debut at the age of 16, and I think he's been in Fulham's senior squad for about 3 years now as Ryan Sessengon. He has gone on to make over 100 senior appearances for Fulham, but I think Ryan Sessengon is intending on leaving Fulham, of course, because obviously he's reluctant to spend another season in the Championship. Obviously, Fulham are in the Championship next season. Obviously, getting relegated from the Premier League after only spending one season in the top flight. But he has got that experience as Ryan Sessengon. He has had 3 years that experience. Obviously, he's had a 1 year experience in the Premier League as Ryan Sessengon under his belt, which is very, very good. Obviously, the season before had it in the Championship. And of course, Ryan Sessengon has scored goals. Obviously, he's only got a year left on his deal as Ryan Sessengon. But I think the price, the quoted fee is around £40 million that Fulham would want, if they were willing to sanction him off. But yeah, a very, very good player indeed. But as I did say to you guys, I don't think really, we need to address that left-hand side, because I think we're okay on that left-hand side. And you can see the deficiencies in the squad, the areas where Manchester United are lacking. And obviously, as I said, we need a right-back, we need a central defender, we need new additions in that midfield. We do definitely need a right winger, and we do need a current striker. But I think on that left-hand side, we are mainly okay. Ryan Sessengon, used to actually play as a left-back, but I think now, as I said, he's primarily a left winger. But obviously, we've got Luke Shaw at left-back, and I think Luke Shaw's very, very reliable enough. Hasn't done really much wrong as a Manchester United player, and still got a lot of years ahead of him. But yeah, Manchester United, we have stepped our interest up in Ryan Sessengon, and he's very, very young. He's Ryan Sessengon. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer, and as he has made it clear, he wants to sign young players that can grow, develop, and emulate into superstars. And we are all aware these players out there for a reasonable figure. So maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because maybe we could get maybe 2 or 3 players for maybe £100 million or just more, rather than forking out £100 million or one player. But as I did say, getting the Galactico players, spending big on players doesn't always get you in that commanding position, of course, where you do currently want to be. But I'd love Ryan Sessengon. I think he's a very, very good player. He risen up the youth system fantastically well with Fulham. I think he was in Fulham's youth academy for about 8 years, of course. But he's been absolutely fantastic indeed. And I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United, Ryan Sessengon. But I just don't think we need to address that left-hand side, and that's currently the difference. But obviously, we've got supposedly, Daniel James, of course, coming in, from Swansea. Obviously, the stories broke out about this last week about Daniel James. Obviously, another young player, only 21 years of age, hasn't played to the highest level yet, because he's only very, very young. Obviously, he's a Championship player. But obviously, reports broke out about this last week, saying that Manchester United, were close to agreeing a deal for Daniel James. I think the fee was around £15 million, so that is very, very cheap. But let's be honest, is a surprise solution, is a cheap acquisition. He is a low expectation. Obviously, we do know that he primarily plays as a winger. Does Daniel James? I think he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, is Daniel James. And I think looking at it ultimately, he's going to be our first signing this summer. But the question is, has he got the attributes? Has he got the capabilities, to succeed in the Premier League? Can he play to the highest level? Can he exceed expectation levels? Manchester United. And Daniel James has only got a year left on his contract. But the stories have been breaking out about this last week. Man United are leading the race for him, because there has been quite a few teams that have attracted their interest in Daniel James. Leeds were on the verge of getting him in January. Obviously, Everton have expressed their interest in him. But he is a surprise solution, so I think he's going to be our first signing. So this is why I don't think we'll currently get Ryan Sessengon on the board. Obviously, Daniel James supposedly coming in. It won't affect what's going on with Anthony Martial. Martial, because obviously if Daniel James comes in, obviously, we'll probably consider putting Martial in more of a central position, to be quite honest with you. But we do know Martial mainly plays on the left when he plays, but if Daniel James comes in, we'll probably, put Martial more centrally. But he's had a good season with Swansea, Daniel James. He's played over 30-odd games this season, and he has been very, very impressive. But I think, Man United are going to get a deal over the line for him, which is very, very good news. But talking about Martial, we do know there's been a lot of talk saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ready, to sell Anthony Martial off, because obviously, Solskjaer was reflecting on his bad attitude in training and obviously his overall behaviour. Obviously, Martial's performances, at least in the last couple of months, have been way below par. And we have seen glimpses of Martial's best form in his 4-year period at Manchester United. We saw it earlier on in the season, of course. In the last couple of months, he's failed to replicate that. Obviously, we saw it in Anthony Martial's fifth season, in his debut season, when, of course, Manchester United got him from Monaco. Obviously, we got him in a deal with £36 million. Rising up to 57 or 58 million, based on goals and achievements. But we do know he hasn't graduated there to that level yet. Obviously, he needs a couple of more years, to get to that level, where he currently wants to be, Anthony Martial. But yeah, he's the long-term solution. I think it will be bad judgment for Manchester United, of course, if we did currently get rid of him. But obviously, as I said, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to sell him, but as you all know, the Glazers had overruled his decision, and obviously Joe Glazer is a big admirer of Martial. He likes Martial a lot, and I think he views him as the club's Pele. So obviously Solskjaer and Joe Glazer had a disagreement on the situation, but yeah, I think Martial's going to be staying. Obviously signed a new long-term contract back in January, but I still believe is a long-term solution. Only 23 years of age, but yeah, I still believe it's a long-term solution. Short-term problem at the moment, based on his poor run of form and performances, but yeah, I do think he will currently get better. If a team was to come in and say, look, there's 70-80 million pounds, then maybe Manchester United would consider it. And obviously Martial was linked with a move away from Old Trafford last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. But obviously it didn't work out under Mourinho, even though he did win two trophies in his first season. Because obviously last summer, looking at it, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing, the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. And obviously, Jose Mourinho had bad disputes with the players. The main one, obviously, was Paul Pogba. But obviously, this is one of the main factor reasons why Jose Mourinho wanted to sanction Martial off. But obviously, we do know that Ed Woodward had currently blocked the move from materialising. But yeah, I still definitely believe is the long-term solution, of course. But you could actually, see probably Daniel James as a potential replacement for Alexis Sanchez, because I know Sanchez can play in other positions, but we've mainly, when we have played Sanchez, which hasn't been much because he isn't our first choice, we have put him on that current left-hand side. And obviously the good news is it's looking likely, Sanchez is currently going to be going. Obviously, as you all know, Inter Milan and Juventus have expressed their interest in him. They're heavily linked to him. Obviously, Sanchez's agent had been in Italy, because Juventus and Inter Milan have had negotiations with currently Sanchez's agent. Obviously, from my perspective as a Manchester United fan, we'd love to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently, but based on his substantial wages, we can't get rid of him permanently, because there won't be any teams out there, of course, that can afford to pay his current wages off. So I think Man United are considering, sanctioning him off on a long-season loan with Inter Milan or Juventus, and I think Manchester United are willing to pay half of his current wages off, because I do believe his wages are having a really, really bad effect on the club. It's totally knackering our wage structure, of course, and he is on 400 grand a week, Miss Sanchez. 400 grand a week Sanchez is on. Obviously, it rises up to £500,000 a week. I think it's up to about £500,000 a week, based on image rights. Obviously, the bonuses and all that. So it does rise up to around £500,000 a week. Highest paid player at the club, highest paid player in the Premier League. Of course, I think he will be playing his trade next season in Italy with either Inter Milan or Juventus. They're battling it out for him. Obviously, Sanchez played in Italy when he was younger with underknees, but I thought when we got Sanchez, he would have been a fundamental player for Manchester United, and I thought he would have exceeded expectations. Of course, Sanchez, even though I know he's aging up, but look at what he did at Arsenal. He was fantastic for Arsenal. Obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola when he was younger, but since he's come to Manchester United, he's been very, very inconsistent. His lacked goals, of course, hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system as Alexis Sanchez. And yeah, and he's, he has sustained quite a few injuries, so he has become injury prone, since he's become a Manchester United player. But looking at it, ultimately, he doesn't have a future at the club. He has lost that yard of pace, so it is good news. I think that we are going to get rid of Sanchez, because I think he has agreed that pay cut. So yeah, that's fantastic news indeed. And he's obviously one of the problematic players. I think the majority of the squad are problematic at the moment. You can see the squad from back to front is potentially not good enough, of course. And I do know a lot of money has been spent in Manchester United, since Alex Alex Ferguson retired, because we have been playing catch-up for the last 5-6 years, and about £700 million has been spent, in all the managerial areas since Alex Ferguson retired. But, as I said, it's going to take us at least, I think, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years, to mount any kind of title challenge up. And I do believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be fighting for that current top 4. But yeah, we're lacking goals, defensively we're poor, and we're lacking leaders in that team, of course. And we're getting 250 million to spend this summer. Obviously, that could get you maybe at least 5 new additions, of course. And yeah, we're getting want to get at least 5 new additions in. We are expected, to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Obviously, we want the club, to get a director of footballing, to change the structure of the club. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need back in this summer. But there has been quite a few candidate names mentioned. But it would be ideal to recommend someone in who knows about the club. Obviously, someone who, of course, has got the experience. So we've definitely, got to get a director of footballing. It is going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level, because obviously, we're not in Champions League football for next season. And yeah, so it's going to take us at least 3 or 4 years, I believe, to get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. We haven't won a trophy, since 2017, of course. So there's lots of issues, to address at Manchester United, of course. And obviously, all the players that we do want to leave, we're not going to be able to get rid of them all in one window. So it will take a couple of windows, to resolve them problems, of course. So, as I did say, yeah, so it's looking like, Sanchez is on his way out the club, which is very, very good news. Big news to update you on in regards to Aaron Bissaka. I think I updated you about this on my last video. Aaron Bissaka now, reportedly, he's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Of course, he's British. He's only 21 years of age, is Aaron Bissaka. Reports do now say Crystal Palace want around £60 million for Aaron Bissaka if they are willing to do any business for him. But he has been on Manchester United's agenda, for quite some time now. Reports came out a while back saying that Crystal, he was fully committed to Crystal Palace. He was intending on spending at least another season there with Palace. Obviously, so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace, but he is only very, very young, of course. I think he joined Crystal Palace's youth academy, was it, like the age of 11, of course. But he only broke into the first team with Crystal Palace in February of last year. So I think he's been in the senior squad now. He's at about 14, 15 months or something like that. But he has been very, very impressive. Well, he was primarily a winner at one point, when he was a lot younger. But then, obviously, he got rotated as a fullback, down Wan-Bissaka. So now, obviously, he is a right back. But his defensive abilities are very, very good. And I do believe, he'd have. I think he's got the, the attributes, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. He's only very, very young. He has got a lot of years ahead of him. So yeah, reportedly, Crystal Palace want around £60 million for him. Whether Man United are willing to pay that £60 million, I do not know. But I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract. But obviously, at that right back position, we do need a right back, because obviously, we do need a replacement for Valencia. Obviously, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young. I do believe that we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. Diego Dalot, has impressed, when he has played. But obviously, he's the upcoming future, is Diego Dalot, of course. And I hope he, graduates to that level. And it could take him at least a couple of years to get to that level, because I think he's only, 19, 20 years of age. But I still believe we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. And I do believe that Crystal Palace's and Wan-Bissaka, would be the right solution. Also, other news to give you an update on. This is another potential Manchester United target, of course, and this is very, very good news as well, guys. I'm going to talk to you in regards to Nicolas Pepe from Lille. I've been updating you about him at least in the last 3 or 4 days, because it is actually likely he's going to be leaving Lille this summer. Well, initially, the Lille boss has just confirmed that he will be departing Lille this summer. I think he's initially valued at around £69 or £70 million. Reports were coming out the other day saying that Man United were eyeing around a £45 million move for him, and that is a reasonable figure, of course, because I think he's got the capabilities. He has got the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League. So far, he has spent the entirety of his career in France. He has been with Lille a couple of seasons, but he can score goals, he can provide, and he's the obvious candidate for the right wing, because as you all know, Nicolas Pepe is primarily a winner, but he can score goals, he can provide, and I think he'd blend in our attacking line, fantastically well. Nicolas Pepe, only very, very young. He's only 23 years of age. I think he has got a contract with Lille until 2022, but I think Lille themselves have confirmed he will be leaving. A number of clubs have attracted their interest in the player. Manchester United are in there for him. I think Arsenal have obviously been linked to him at least in the last couple of months. Liverpool are in there for him, Bayern Munich, PSG have also been interested in Nicolas Pepe. I think yeah, a lot of teams have been interested in him. So that just shows how much of a good player. That just emphasises how much of a good player he's been for Lille in his couple of seasons. But yeah, he can score goals. He can provide. Very good in the air. His runs on off the ball are fantastic, and I think he'd be the right solution for Manchester Manchester United, and I hope he's planning his trade in the Premier League next season. But I think if he was to come in the Premier League, it would be the next step for Nicolas Pepe. So that's very, very good news. But as I said, there is quite a few teams in for him. And other news to give you an update on as well in regards to Paul Pogba. Now, obviously, it's looking likely we do know that Paul Pogba is probably going to be going to Real Madrid in the summer. Obviously, that's his likely destination, where Paul Pogba will end up. Obviously, recent reports did come out saying that talks between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid had currently stalled. Obviously, based on his 13 million euro wage demands. Obviously, that these wage demands do not fit the wage structure at Real Madrid. So I think now for Paul Pogba to make his move to Real Madrid, he's willing to lower his wage demands so he can currently make his move. Obviously, reports came out the other week saying that Real Madrid were not willing to meet his £290,000 a week wages. So it did initially say that Paul Pogba, of course, would have to take a pay cut. But obviously, at the moment, Paul Pogba's holding up our transfers, of course, and obviously, I think Manchester United are waiting, to clarify Paul Pogba's situation. Before we obviously going for Lyon's Tanguy Ndombele. There has been quite a few teams in for that Tanguy Ndombele. Only 22 is he, or is he 23? Very, very young indeed. I think Tottenham are probably the favourites to land him, of course, according to reports. PSG are in there for him. Obviously Juventus are in there for him. I think he's primarily central midfielder, is Tanguy Ndombele, but his performances have been very, very impressive. I think he's reportedly valued at around £87 million. But I think the club are waiting on Paul Pogba's future to be clarified, and then obviously we're going to make a move of Tanguy Ndombele. But I don't see us getting Tanguy Ndombele on the board, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But there has been a lot of talks about him. I think Manchester City, of course, have been linked to him in the past. But talking about Paul Pogba, yes, obviously Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player. Obviously, Paul Pogba in his last 7 or 8 games, his performances have been way below par. So that just emphasises, that Paul Pogba. Dad, what you doing?
No, I suppose they're dressing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let her do yours.
No. What you doing? Dad, I'm going out soon. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying about Paul Pogba, sorry about that, just talking. So we do know he's got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United, but I think he's intending on making the move to Madrid, because obviously, Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid about, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago, about his dream to play for them and all that. And as I did say, Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player, so it's looking likely, Paul Pogba's going to be going to Real Madrid. Manchester United reportedly want around 160 million. I don't think we're going to get 160 million pounds for him, so I think it did say Man United may be willing to let him go for around 120 or 130 million pounds. But I do believe it will help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition, because obviously what we get for Paul Pogba, we could get 2 players with that money. Maybe one of the main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the club, maybe he wants to be playing to the highest level, maybe he wants to be up there competing and winning silverware, of course. And as you all know, Manchester United are a number of years off doing this. Obviously last year, Paul Pogba was heavily linked with a move away from Old Trafford, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously he was linked with his former club Juventus. Obviously he was linked with a move to Barcelona. But at least in the last couple of weeks, Paul Pogba's agent Raiola has been in the process of finding him a new club, of course. So Manchester United, of course, paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. But yeah, we've seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. We saw the best of Paul Pogba, and that was mainly because Ander Herrera was playing, and that just emphasised how much of an impact Ander Herrera currently made when he was at Manchester United, because he used to free up Paul Pogba, and that's that's when we saw the best of Paul Pogba. He expressed himself, he was scoring goals, he was providing them, of course, and Paul Pogba's he's still in his mid-20s, he's 26, he's still in his prime, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him as Paul Pogba, so I do really, really like him, and some Man United fans will be happy he's going, some Man United fans will be disappointed about it, because it will be hard to find a replacement of a player of Paul Pogba's calibre, of course, but as I did say, maybe he wants to, go, he wants to play amongst better players, and obviously he's not getting this at Manchester United. Obviously, recent reports did currently say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship with Paul Pogba is slowly fading, because as you all know, Solskjaer, when he managed the Manchester United reserve team, watched from this team in this day and age, grow and develop, and of course one of them was Paul Pogba, but recent reports have said his relationship with Solskjaer is slowly fading, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking with Paul Pogba a while back, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still insists he'll be at Manchester United next season, but I think he needs to put a transfer request in Paul Pogba to make his move to Real Madrid. Obviously, there's still been possible talks that he could make the return to Juventus, but it did say Juventus would have to offload a couple of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. It came out in the Daily Mail the other week saying that Barcelona were willing to offer him around £130 million, and it did say they could offload Ivan Rakitic, to fund the move. Actually, give you an update on that, was it the other week? But I do believe Paul Pogba, of course, is going to be leaving the club. So I think it will be beneficial for us. If we can sell Pogba, we can sell Lukaku. That's £200 million plus there. Sell De Gea. That's obviously, call it about 270 million there, or maybe even more. So yeah, it will help us with our rebuilding process, of course. But we need a replacement for Paul Pogba, and I think Bruno Fernandes would be the right replacement for Paul Pogba, because Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder. He can score goals, he can provide. I think he'd fit the Manchester United agenda very, very well. And I do believe if he came to the Premier League, he would produce and deliver the same element of the performances that he has been doing in his last couple of years in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon. But he's teared up fantastically well in Portugal, and I think he's got all the attributes, all the capabilities, to succeed in the Premier League as Bruno Fernandes. But Manchester United have been interesting. Obviously, Manchester City have been interesting, but he has been on Manchester United's agenda now for some time, reflecting on his impressive performances, because Manchester United have been scouting him because he's a very, very good player. He's only 24 as well. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. His initial release clause is 85 or 86 million pounds, but I think Sporting Lisbon have made it clear that they want around 60 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes. They want around £60 million of Bruno Fernandes, still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. But I'd love him to come in. I think he'd blend in very, very well in our midfield. Obviously, a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, obviously, the more attractive option would be Manchester City, of course. But obviously, Manchester United are definitely, we're still in there for Bruno Fernandes. But as I said, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy when he was young, with Sampdoria and underneath. And I think Sporting Lisbon paid was it around £8 million for him. It did say the other week that City were close to finalise the deal for Bruno Fernandes. It did say City were in talks with Sporting Lisbon over the deal worth around 47 million. It did say City were willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal, and then it initially said that City had currently pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I'd love Bruno Fernandes, to come in, and I think he'd be a great replacement for Paul Pogba. Youri Tielemans, I'd love him to come in as well, from Leicester, likes of Arsenal and Tottenham have attracted their interest in Youri Tielemans. Again, only very, very young, only 22 years of age. He's available for a reasonable figure, because I think Monaco initially value him around £40 million. I think from Youri Tielemans' perspective, he's intended on making the return to Monaco when his loan spell ends with Leicester. But he's obviously now had about 6 month experience in the Premier League, of course, to under his belt. So it has been about 6 months. He has been at Leicester. He has still got a contract with Monaco until 2022. Youri Tielemans, I think, is primarily a central midfielder, but it has said Manchester United have been in for him. Tottenham have been in for him. Arsenal have been in for him, and I think he'd blend in our midfield very, very well. So say you get Bruno Fernandes and Youri Tielemans, they're going to cost you around £100 million, but that's £100 million on two decent players that will dramatically improve us in our midfield, because we do need depth in that midfield, and we also need a replacement for Ander Herrera, and I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious, of course. So lots to sort out this summer. And Declan Rice, I'd love Declan Rice to come in. Declan Rice only very, very young, 20 years of age, well Premier League proven. Initially learned his trade in the Premier League. He could be available for around £50 million this summer. Could Declan Rice? So I'd basically love him also to come in. And As he updated you earlier on in regards to what's going on with David De Gea, of course, and this has been the problem with Manchester United. You know, we've let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, you know, prime example, you know, Rashford's only got a year left on his deal. We haven't yet got him a new contract. Obviously, we've let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer, but I do believe this was bad judgment for Manchester United. You know, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract, giving Ashley Young a new one-year extension, and that was bad judgment for Manchester United. But in regards to David De Gea, of course, as I updated you earlier on, PSG are planning to get David De Gea on a free transfer next year, but that would be a calamity, you know, if Manchester United, you know, let David De Gea go on a free transfer. And obviously, you know, if we can't come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract, obviously, you know, would want to cash in for him this summer rather than let him go on a free transfer, of course. And I do believe we could maybe get around 60 or 70 million pounds for De Gea if we were to sell him this summer. Obviously, we know he's worth more than 70 million pounds. I think he's probably worth around 100 million pounds, but he's only got a year left on his contract. If PSG, you know, were to get him on the free, obviously, you know, they wouldn't have to pay any fee for him, and obviously, you know, they could be tempted, you know, to offer him a bigger salary, you know, if they don't have to pay him a current fee for David De Gea. And obviously, at the moment, I think our PSG under like some kind of a financial fair play or something like that, because obviously, you know, PSG have spent big in the last couple of seasons on the likes of Mbappe and Neymar, of course. I think, you know, they have to, you know, I think they're under some kind of a UEFA financial fair play, of course. But yeah, I think if David De Gea does leave, he is going to make the move to Paris Saint-Germain. But reports have been saying that De Gea is reportedly demanding around £400,000 a week from Manchester United. So he wants to be the highest paid player at the club alongside Sanchez, but reportedly Ed Woodward is refusing to meet his current wage demands, of course. Obviously, at the moment, in his current deal, he's on about £200,000 a week, is David De Gea. But don't get me wrong, he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. You know, he has been at the club 8 seasons as David De Gea. You know, he's won everything he domestically. He has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. He has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as David De Gea. And hopefully somewhere along the line, you know, we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract. But in this 8-year period, of course, he hasn't really stepped a foot out of line. I know towards the back end of the season, you know, he was making costly mistakes, but I think he's going through a bad period at the moment. He's David De Gea. Obviously, we do know as well, Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, we do know that Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him in 2015, but due to a fax machine, of course, the deal never currently materialised. But yeah, he's been a fantastic servant to the club, De Gea, but I think if he leaves, he will be going to Paris Saint-Germain, of course. But now PSG are intending on getting him on a free transfer next year. But I wouldn't want Manchester United, of course, you know, to let him go on a free transfer. And maybe one of the main factor reasons why David De Gea, you know, of course, wants to leave, because obviously maybe a goalkeeper of his calibre, you know, wants to be playing to the highest level, wants to be up there, you know, challenging and winning trophies. And obviously, you know, Manchester United are not doing that, of course. And so I do believe that PSG, you know, are going to get him, you know, of course. But I don't want David De Gea, of course, to go on a free transfer. But last year, Manchester United, as you all know, activated a 12-month extension, of course. You know, so he's under contract here until the summer of 2020. He's 28. You know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him as David De Gea. But obviously, I know we've got the likes of Sergio Romero, but I don't think he's reliable enough yet, you know, to become our #1 goalkeeper. Obviously, you know, we've got the likes of, you know, Dean Henderson, but Dean Henderson hasn't really got the experience yet. You know, Dean Henderson's on loan at Sheffield United at the moment. I know we've got Lee Grant, but Lee Grant, obviously, you know, obviously we got him last summer, but I think he could leave in the summer. Could Lee Grant? I think we got Joel Pereira as well, if I'm right. But if De Gea leaves, you know, we're going to need a replacement for him. And obviously, as you all know, yesterday reports came out about that Ajax goalkeeper, you know, Andrea Onana, only 23 years of age, very, very young, but he has had 3 years worth of experience as Ajax's starting goalkeeper. He's 23, as I said. I think initially valued at around £35-40 million, but reports came out yesterday saying that Manchester United had a £35 million bid turned down for him. So do you think he'd be a good replacement for David De Gea? And to be quite fair, I don't really know much about this Andrea Onana, but it has said Manchester United have been in for him. He's a Cameroon international, but he has been in the Ajax senior squad now for 3 seasons. I think initially graduated from Barcelona's youth system. You know, they did this goalkeeper, but do you believe he'd be a good replacement for David De Gea? Do you think he'd be a good replacement for David De Gea? Obviously, there's been other goalkeepers that have been mentioned in the past, who could replace De Gea. Obviously, 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was a lot of talks about Jan Blanc from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, in the past, there has been talks of Jordan Pickford, of course. So, who would be the right replacement for David De Gea? Because if De Gea goes, we're definitely, we're going to need a replacement for him. But obviously, David De Gea is the best goalkeeper in the world without a shadow of a doubt. And, of course, as you all know, guys, we do need a central defender, someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. I think Rojo's going in the summer, which is good. Darmin's a full-back, but I think he's going in the summer, which is very, very good. And we could get around £30 million, for Darmin and Rojo. I do believe that Smalling and Jones, should be going in the summer, but I don't think they're gonna, because they've been 2 long-serving players. Smalling's been here 9 seasons, Jones has been here 8 years, of course, and I do believe, they both need to go in the summer, but they're not gonna. But comparing Smalling and Jones, I think Smalling's a much, much better defender than Phil Jones, but I just don't think. To be quite honest with you guys, I just don't think they're going to leave in the summer, even though I do currently want them to. But Lindelof's been very good this season. He's been very consistent. Struggled in his first season, didn't really settle in, but I think he's improved. I think he's adapted areas of his game very, very well, Lindelof. I think he showed that ability that he can play out from the back. I think his distribution that's improved, so I've been very, very impressed with him. But some people say, of course, we need 2 central defenders. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about Ajax's De Ligt, and Ajax have got a really, really good young squad, and I like this De Ligt, but I think Barcelona are the favourites, to currently land De Ligt. De Ligt's only 19 years of age. Obviously, so far spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. I think he's been in their senior squad a number of years now. As De Ligt, the only defender, to win the Golden Boy award, but only very, very young. But I think it came out, was it about 2 weeks ago? It might have been longer. The current Edwin van der Sar, the CEO of Ajax, of course, he admitted that he probably will leave this summer, De Ligt, and he admitted that he'll probably move to England or Spain. So that's probably where he'll be playing his trade next season. Will De Ligt actually became more of a first-team starter, of course, when Davinson Sanchez departed Ajax. But I do think he'd blend in very, very well in our back line. Only 19, has got a lot of years ahead of him as De Ligt. But it says that Barcelona have been in for him. Liverpool, of course, have been in for him. He's a Dutch international. But obviously, Barcelona have obviously got a deal already, over the line. For Frankie de Jong. Obviously, he's going to be officially a Barcelona player this summer, is Frankie de Jong, because obviously Barcelona agreed the fee last summer with Ajax. I think it was around £75 million, but it was a year in advance. So Frankie de Jong's going to be a Barcelona player in the summer. So Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for De Ligt's current teammate. But yeah, De Ligt's very, very good. I think he's very, very tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. But yeah, very, very good player indeed. But he's not going to he's not going to be cheap, of course, as you all know. He's probably going to cost you around maybe 60, maybe even £70 million. Reports came out the other week saying that he had agreed to join Barcelona. Obviously, his agent is Raiola. Obviously, Raiola has been in discussions with Barcelona's representatives over finalising a deal. And it did initially say that Barcelona and Ajax had come to an agreement on around the £60 million fee for De Ligt. So I do believe that Barcelona are still among the favourites, to get a deal over the line for De Ligt. So I'd love him to come to Manchester United. Other defenders, of course, as you all know, that have currently been mentioned, Koulibaly. Obviously, he's our number 1 target now, reportedly is Napoli's Koulibaly, and I do really, really like him a lot. And he's an experienced centre-back, and I think we need a world-class centre-back, to be quite honest, because we haven't had one since we had the likes of Vidic, since we had the likes of Ferdinand, of course, but Koulibaly would be fantastic. Probably Manchester United would have to break the world transfer record to get a deal over the line for him. Obviously, Man United have been long admirers of him. Obviously, last year we had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. But yeah, he's a really, really good defender, holds his line very, very well. His agility is very, very good, very, very good in the air, tenacious, and he just blend in fantastically well in our back line. Highly experienced, nearly 28 years of age. Obviously, recently signed a new deal with Napoli, so he's under contract with Napoli until 2023, of course. But he's been at Napoli a number of years now, and he's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti regarded him as one of the best centre-backs in the world. But hopefully this summer, we can get a deal over the line for him. There has been positive news coming out about him, most recently. We have now identified him as our number 1 target. I don't think he's the best centre-back in the world. I think he's one of them. I think Virgil van Dijk for Liverpool has been better than him this season. Liverpool paid £75 million for Virgil van Dijk, and obviously he's the most expensive defender at the moment, but he's been at Liverpool about 15, 16 months now. Imagine Van Dijk and Koulibaly in Liverpool's team, that would be fantastic, not for me, but from a Liverpool perspective, that would be fantastic, of course. But I don't think Liverpool will be intending on spending another load of money on a central defender. But it's my club, Manchester Manchester United that need a central defender, because we're leaking far too many goals, of course. And yeah, we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof. And I think, you know, possibly, you know, we need two central defenders, as some people are currently saying. But Koulibaly, you know, definitely, you know, would be my current number one. He's got all the attributes, you know, to succeed in the Premier League, and I think he produce and deliver the same element of the performances if he came to the Premier League, you know, of what he's been doing in his number of years with Napoli, of course. So yeah, I'd love him to come. He's made over 200 odd appearances for Napoli in all competitions. So yeah, there is still a chance, you know, we can get a deal over the line for him. Obviously, we do know there's been a lot of talks about Leicester's Harry Maguire. I won't put him in Koulibaly's level, but he's well Premier League proven. Harry Maguire, you know, in his mid-20s, 26 years of age, has still got a lot of years ahead of him. You know, well Premier League proven, of course. But maybe Harry Maguire maybe feels as though now he wants to take his career to the next level. Maybe wants to be, you know, playing to the highest level. Wants to be playing in Champions League football. Wants to be up there currently challenging. And if he wants to, you know, obviously Man United are a number of years off doing that, of course. But Man United, he did say Man United are set to revive our interest in him. We have got the financial power to meet his valuation. I think we have got the financial power to double his wages. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons. Obviously, Leicester got him from Hull City for around £17 million, but I think previously valued at around £70 or £80 million. But I don't think Man United are intending on breaking the world transfer record for Harry Maguire. Obviously, Harry Maguire last summer signed a new long-term contract, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. So yeah, I'd definitely, you know, love Harry Maguire to come in. If we got Harry Maguire and Koulibaly, and you know, that would be even better than just getting Koulibaly in, of course. But yeah, Harry Maguire, you know, would be currently fantastic. But we're not intending on breaking the world transfer record for him. We're not going to get. I don't think we're going to get Toby Alderweireld in, even though looking at it financially, you know, he is a much cheaper alternative to the likes of Koulibaly and you know the Harry Maguires and all that. But as I said, I don't think Man United are intending on bringing any short-term players in, because obviously, as you all know, Toby Alderweireld's 30. He has proven to be a world-class central defender. You know, he's well Premier League proven, of course, but I don't think now we're intending on bringing Toby Alderweireld in. So we have been interested in a number of central defenders, and yeah. And nothing much really more to say, guys, you know, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, so a big summer ahead for Manchester United. But the main part of this video was to give you an update on in regards to Ryan Sessengon. Also to give you an update more on in regards to Aaron Bissaka. Give you an update more on Nicolas Pepe. So yeah, Nicolas Pepe is going to be leaving Lille this summer, according to you know the Lille boss. Lille have actually confirmed it. And I think we're still in for Aaron Bissaka. Crystal Palace reportedly want around £60 million for him. I think he's initially valued at £40 million, but now reportedly they want around £60 million for him. Fulham, I think Fulham would want around £40 million for Ryan Sessengon. And you know, fullbacks has been a problem for Manchester United at least in the last number of years, should I say. But I think we need a right back. We need a predominant right back. I don't really think we need a left back, because I think Luke Shaw's reliable. Unless, you know, some Manchester United fans have a different opinion, or some maybe Manchester United fans say, you know, we need to get a left back in, maybe a cover up for Luke Shaw. But I think we're all right on that left hand side. But now anyway, Ryan Sessengon, as you all know, is primarily a winner. But as you all know, Ryan Sessengon so far has spent the entirety of his career with Fulham. But Man United have made initial contact with Fulham over the potential move for Ryan Sessengon. I think we're the only team that's made contact, of course. But Ryan Sessengon is actually the only first player to be born in the 2000s to score a goal in the first team game, of course. But he's not intending on spending another season in the Championship with Fulham. So yeah, I think he will be currently making the move. Only got a year left on his deal, as you all know. But Man United have been in for Ryan Sessengon in the past. And yeah, and anyway, guys, and that's mainly everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.